Delicious.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining us for Lunch Bites. At Coppell ISD, we value collective engagement that positively impacts the lives of our children and our world. On today's Lunch Bites, you are going to hear from Executive Director of Communications and Community Engagement, Angela Brown, where she shares with you what is happening with our Strategic Design Advocacy program. You're also going to hear from Lorie Squalls, principal of Austin Elementary, and she's going to share a little bit about what is happening with her parent book clubs. And then also you're going to hear about an incredible team from Coppell High School who is going to tell you about a step that they took education one step further with the seniors on Adulting Day, which is finishing up right now as we speak.
This is our third Strategic Advocacy Day that we've had, where we brought together the advocates from each campus and each department. So that includes some administrators, teachers, different staff members all coming together to really do a deep dive into our core values and how we can bring those core values to life through every action and decision that's made in the district. And what's new and interesting about this Strategic Advocacy Day is that we were able to take a couple of great engagement ideas and kind of bring them to life and help everyone see how you can take an idea and you can kind of duplicate it. So let me give you an example. One of the ones that we did is book clubs. Austin Elementary has had great success with doing parent book clubs. And so we decided to what we're calling productize book clubs. So Lorie Squalls presented on book clubs, and she not only taught about what they did at book clubs, but she instructed the advocates how can you use book clubs on your campus to increase engagement with parents, with staff members, with community members.
As a campus at Austin, we were really digging into the work of restorative practices and culturally responsive teaching and social and emotional learning. And what we realized as a leadership team is that we needed to include our parents in that conversation and in that learning. And so in kind of just networking with some of our other district personnel like Jeff Menn, I was able to come up with a book that would be a good foundational piece for helping bring our parents along. So that first book study was just that foundational piece, and then we've continued that just kind of based on what our parents need and want to know.
And she kind of presented it all as a package. So she gave them all of the handouts. She provided all of the resources they needed. She gave them book lists. And she basically made it as a product where they could just take it and kind of implement it on their campus, like a one-stop shop for them.
They wanted other campuses to be able to replicate the same systems, structures, and processes that we used for that, and kind of make it not where we're reinventing the wheel all the time. And so I was able to meet with one of the representatives from Tech Zenit and talk about what that would look like. And so we kind of did a product trailer to get people interested, but also just really outline the processes that we took to make all of that happen, so that if any principal or campus wanted to implement that at their campus, then they had all of the materials, resources, and even book ideas to make that happen.
We did the same thing with this new project that's happening at Coppell High School called Adulting, or Adulting Day, Adulting 101, where our high school seniors are going to get to take a variety of classes. And so we're having community members come in to speak to the students, and they are going to kind of instruct them on those ideas.
Adulting Day on March 4th is basically our seniors getting to choose 3 sessions, 3 topics of adulting topics, so to speak, like paying taxes or understanding insurance to renting an apartment, navigating relationships. What we want is when they leave, we want them to feel equipped and prepared and say, hey, I'm so glad I took this session today. I'm so glad I feel better. I'm not as scared to go off into my next step.
This is a day where seniors get their questions answered that weren't necessarily answered while they were in high school or junior high or elementary school. It's about everyday life. So it's about, like, how do I open a bank account? How do I fix a flat? How do I cook something more than ramen noodles? So it's those basic questions that we just haven't answered yet.
I love brainstorming, and I love when I get the privilege to go to Daryl and say, hey, I have this idea, and he's just incredibly motivating and encouraging and says, okay, here's how we should do that. And I think I wanted to inspire people to find someone like a teammate like that who helps you grow in your ideas. And I wanted people to feel inspired that, hey, even if you have a small idea, like, it can come to life, like, it's possible.
We were told that we needed to come and make a pitch to the administration and kind of sell our ideas, show them how an idea started with just an idea and then it grew into a movement. So it took a lot of people in order to talk about the idea and to start. Basically, what we hope to get out of this is that people want to be involved in Adulting Day, and that it makes people inspired to start their own movements, that they can take their own ideas back to their own campuses and they can talk to somebody and find that person that will back them up and then create that movement.
At this Advocacy Day, one of the sessions that we had was on collective engagement, and I led that session, and we were able to give a first look at the collective engagement, calling it white paper or point of view paper. We took a look at research on what is collective and what is engagement and what does that mean for Coppell ISD, and we culminated all of that into this white paper document, and we gave that out to our advocates. It really helps us define what does collective engagement look like in Coppell ISD, and ultimately comes back to our core value that it has to positively impact the children in our school district and the children in the world, and it has to positively impact our world. And we do that through a couple of lenses. It needs to be intentional. It needs to include not just two-way communication, but really we want lots of voices around the table. And that ultimately that engagement should lead to decision making. So we want to make sure that we're not just pushing out information, but that we're really getting everyone around the table talking, engaging in things that are happening in our school, things are happening in our community, and that it's leading to a stronger community and that it's leading to great decision making. Ultimately, that's what collective engagement is in Coppell ISD. We do have one more Strategic Advocacy Day left where we're going to train our advocates, and it's a half day in April, and we're just going to do more of those product showcases. So it's going to be a day full of taking the ideas that are already happening that are in Coppell ISD that are successful, whether it's about redefining success or it's about engagement or it's about relationships or it's about great teaching. We're going to take those and we're going to kind of productize them and offer those as sessions for the other departments or the other campuses to use. And that's going to be our last Advocacy Day for this school year. The first year we started this, last year we focused on redefining success. This year we had a heavy focus on collective engagement. Next year we're going to take a heavy focus on authentic relationships. We're still going to be working on redefining success. We're still going to be working on collective engagement, but we're going to focus on authentic relationships and dig in deep what that means. And then we are always focused on great teaching because that's one of the things that sets us apart, and we have to continue to focus on great teaching. But as we look into authentic relationships, we're going to take kind of a new twist on how do we look at every aspect of what we do in Coppell ISD and building deeper and stronger relationships, and how do we look at maybe people that that aren't as connected to our school district. How do we build deep and lasting relationships with people who may not have a direct connection to us? And so we're going to be using some new tools, and we'll bring those to our advocates and give them some tools to help them really dig in deep to what does authentic relationships look like, what really does that mean and look like, and then how can we even get the disengaged and engage them in a meaningful relationship.
Thank you so much, Angela. We now have people standing by to answer your questions.